Welcome to the Downsized. This is your weekly news. Today we'll be talking about some of the big stories in GLP-1s, and there's all kinds of insurance coverage and stories right now everywhere on the internet. We'll be talking about Eli Lilly looking to the future, and then them being a little bit afraid of new competitors trying to jump in the game and even take some space away from GLP-1. So there's some other options that don't include GLP-1s.
We are Laraine and Chris Durham, and we are the Downsized. This is the Downsized News Monday, June 17th, where we shared the latest GLP-1, Mounjaro, Zepbound, Wegovy, Ozempic, tirzepatide, and semaglutide news. We also give you some insights and a healthy dose of our opinions.
Because Lord knows we got plenty of that.
I won't say that. Yeah.
What?
My grandfather used to say opinions are like...
Yeah, don't say that.
Everybody's got one.
Please take a moment to like and subscribe. Click that bell. It'll remind you every time we publish something, and make sure that you are up to date on all the latest in the GLP-1 news.
And we're not doctors or medical professionals, so don't take our word for it. Always consult a qualified healthcare professional before starting any weight loss medication or treatment.
Story number one. In a move to address rising healthcare costs, Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan is trying to cut their costs, and they've announced it will phase out coverage for several weight loss drugs in the coming years. This is all over the space. People are kind of freaking out. There's people on TikToks holding their letters up. Beginning January 1st, 2025, Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan will eliminate coverage of GLP-1 drugs for large group fully insured members or upon the group's health coverage renewal date in 2025. Additionally, beginning August 1st of the year, the insurer will change prior authorization requirements for weight loss medications, Saxenda, Wegovy, and Zepbound. So if you already had a prior authorization, you went through all of the nightmare of the healthcare system and insurance, they're going to pull it away.
In August.
It has to redo. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan, I gotta tell you, I don't love this move. According to the company, these changes come after a thorough evaluation of the efficacy, safety, and accessibility of GLP-1 weight loss drugs, as well as their associated costs. Dr. James Grant, Chief Medical Officer at Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan, explained the rationale behind the decision. It's just unaffordable, and we have to make difficult decisions, Grant said. We didn't make this decision lightly. There was a lot of discussion and analysis to reach this conclusion. The injectable drugs Wegovy, Zepbound, and Saxenda, which are FDA approved for helping individuals manage obesity, fall under the GLP-1 agonist category. These drugs simulate, as we know, the effects of glucagon-like peptide 1, a hormone that promotes a feeling of fullness. Despite these changes, BCBSM will continue to cover GLP-1 drugs prescribed for type 2 diabetes, such as Ozempic, Rybelsus, Victoza, and Mounjaro. Grant underscored the significant financial impact of weight loss drug claims, which have skyrocketed from $8 million in 2021 to a projected $200 million by 2025. He also pointed out that a substantial number of members discontinue these medications early on, with over 30% stopping after the first month, which undermines their potential benefits. BCBSM's decision aligns with those of other insurers in the state that have already ceased covering weight loss drugs. Nonetheless, Michigan remains one of the 16 states that provide Medicaid coverage for weight loss and type 2 diabetic medications. BCBSM went on to emphasize, we are committed to providing high quality, affordable health care as stewards of our members' and customers' premiums. Stewards of their premiums?
Yeah, they're taking them.
Yeah, but there's no conversation about health, about customers. They're worried about their premiums.
Yeah, no, I've got a lot
to say I have to stop. Anyway, they say we must ensure that drugs we cover are beneficial without imposing excessive costs that affect all members and customer groups. So before Laraine goes on a rant, because I can see one building, if my doctor prescribes a medication for me that he believes is medically efficacious, then I should be efficacious. That's a good word, isn't it? I like
that word.
I should be able to get it. And the fact that any insurance company, any management company is making a decision based off of their profitability and not off my health care is a significant issue, not only for the insurer, for the patient, but for our healthcare industry in general. This has got to change.
So they're covering it for type 2 diabetics, but not for people with obesity. So what do you think is going to happen with all those people with obesity? A lot of them are going to turn into type 2 diabetics. And then they can get covered. after their health has, gotten to a worse level than it is now. I understand they're in a business to make money. They're in a business to make money. I understand. And this medication is expensive. And if they cover it, they will not make as much profit. Okay.
Well,
but
let's
what about
talk.
the long-term effects
Well,
of obesity?
and I think that was where it becomes interesting, because the challenge of having a Wall Street traded insurer is, like all Wall Street traded companies, is that you make short term decisions based off of share price and margin and profitability and all these things. And all Wall Street cares about is right now.
Right.
Right. That's all they care about is right now, because that's the way stocks sell. It just is what it is. These medications have the potential to make a long-term impact on the entire healthcare system. And honestly, Blue Cross Blue Shield's profitability should be better long run, not worse.
So what's going to happen? All these people in Michigan that have been getting this medication, their GLP-1 medications, for probably $25 or less for these past 18 months are now not going to be covered. And what are they going to do? They're either going to stop taking them altogether, their weight will probably go back up, or they're going to switch to a compounded medication. I would think at some point Eli Lilly would step in and say, hey, maybe we should do something to make this more affordable for people.
Well, I think that's going to
insurance companies. But if everybody goes to the compound, Eli Lilly doesn't get any of that.
Novo Nordisk, absolutely. So I think sooner or later they will lower prices, if nothing else, to make the size of the pie much bigger. Right? They don't want to fight over the same little pie. They want to fight over the 40% of the Americans that are. That are fat.
But right now they can't even keep in stock the people that are paying.
Well, it'll come
a little bit or a lot. So, and another thing I wanted to rant about was the prior authorizations. So I never really understood prior authorizations until we went for these GLP-1 medications. So your doctor wrote you a prescription for Mounjaro. This was back in September before Zepbound came out. It's your prescription for Mounjaro. I take it to the pharmacy, give them my insurance card, give them my prescription, or, it's all electronic now, but you get the idea. And then the pharmacist says, your insurance company says we have to send it back to your doctor to get a prior authorization. Didn't he just write me the prescription? Like, what do they mean? Did you really mean to prescribe this? You didn't really mean. Did you really mean to prescribe this guy Mounjaro? He doesn't really need it, does he? The doctor says, yeah, he really needs it. So then we take another day going back and forth over that. Then it goes back to the pharmacy. The pharmacy goes back to the insurance. The insurance says, okay, you really need it. Guess what? We're still not approving it. So they refuse the prior authorization. It comes back denied. And then I can say, oh, well, I have this coupon from Eli Lilly, so this $1,200 medication is now going to be $550. Can you please take this coupon and please take my $550?
The complexity of the system is designed to have the insurers keep their money. They don't really want to spend.
No, they don't want to spend it. And they make it so daggum difficult. And I've seen people who have written letters trying to get these medications covered. Occasionally I see one in a blue moon who achieves it, and they'll post their letter online. But I think more and more insurance companies are just going to not cover this because it costs so much.
Next story up. You want to do this one, Laraine?
Sure. So here's some interesting news from the world of health tech. Google's health tech arm, Verily, is making a big change. They announced that they'll phase out their current chronic disease management app on Duo over the next 18 months and launch a new product called LightPath. So what's LightPath all about? Well, it's set to launch in 2026 and will offer more than on Duo's old programs for type 1 and type 2 diabetes and hypertension. LightPath Metabolic will include GLP-1 drug prescriptions and use artificial intelligence and data from continuous glucose monitoring devices. One's on your arm.
Mm-hmm.
This means your care will be even more personalized. The chief product officer of Verily said it's taking a lot of years of experience providing clinical care with a full stack care team and applying that to a new digital experience that represents an upgrade in terms of delivering on both patient engagement and empowerment. Plans to start enrollment for LightPath in early 2026. Cool part, the program is adaptable, letting you adjust the intensity of your care as needed. There are 4 levels in the program. Number 1 is metabolic intensive. It's for managing type 1 and 2 diabetes and hypertension, hyperlipidemia, and comorbid obesity. Number 2 is weight loss intensive, a clinically guided weight loss program that may include anti-obesity medications like GLP-1s. What are they given number 1?
Well, the comorbid obesity is I have heart disease and it's a lot. It's a lot more serious.
Number 3 is metabolic improvement, focused on diabetes prevention, hypertension, and well-managed metabolic conditions. And number 4 is metabolic achievement, so long-term monitoring and support for those who have reached their health goals.
So it's just stepping up the levels of care and service. Basically, it's telehealth on steroids.
Had you ever heard of this on Duo before?
No, I think that's why they're launching something new. Do I really want Google having access to a sensor on my body all the time? I don't know. That gets a little creepy.
So my
but
cousin,
Apple does for you. So
yeah, well, everybody has a phone. My cousin has a continuous glucose monitoring patch on her arm. It's a little device that takes her glucose level every 5 minutes or something.
Yeah.
It was quite frequently. And then
she had pretty serious type 2 diabetes.
Yeah, she came down with type 2 diabetes just suddenly a couple years ago. And so if her blood glucose is above the level, her phone beeps and sends her a message that says, I don't know, do something right now.
Here's where we start getting into the insurance fun again. So another story. Employer coverage for weight loss drugs has increased on one side, where Blue Cross Blue Shield was saying we're not going to cover it anymore. A survey of global employers released on Thursday by the International Foundation of Employee Benefit Plans. So, me neither. A association which includes about a third of the U.S. employer health plans say they're offering coverage of GLP-1 drugs for diabetes management and weight loss up from last year. The trade group survey found that GLP-1 drugs for weight loss grew as a portion of the employer's overall medical claims spending to 8.9% in 2024, up from 6.9% in 2023. Only about 26% of employers offered the drugs last year. Mm-hmm. Some 57% of employers surveyed covered the drugs only for diabetic care. Of those, 19% are considering offering the drugs for weight loss. The foundation comprises more than 33,000 member companies or public institutions, representing over 25 million employees in the United States and Canada. A big base they're looking at. What is that? A little more than a quarter of the companies that actually even include the GLP-1s?
Yeah, not a lot of companies currently have it in their plans. If I'm a company in Michigan, and I want to include GLP-1s in my employees' coverage, I cannot use now Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan.
Correct.
Because they just won't have it. They won't include it.
Right.
So the employer can pick the things they want to cover in their plan, but then they have to find someone to administer the plan, like the Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan. That's where it gets confusing, because people say, oh, Blue Cross Blue Shield covers me. They don't understand that their employer has to cover it, and then the facilitator of the insurance.
It's a package. So the employer goes to...
They pick their package. Like we pick our package when we sign up.
And they can pick the platinum package, the silver pack, whatever they call them. And each one includes different things.
They have different prices. And
there's a whole team of HR people that are sitting there going, well, how much is this going to cost us? And balancing that and all that. So we've had a number of folks comment about, this is really up to your employer. Well, it is to a certain extent. But if the plans are not offered, the employer cannot pick it.
Yeah.
Really, as a small business, we're out on the marketplace shopping for insurance, and I don't know that there was even a plan offered that would cover this for us.
I don't think there was, because I was trying to find a plan through the healthcare marketplace that covered Mounjaro, and there wasn't one.
Actually, the next story up kind of gets to that.
A recent analysis revealed a significant difference in coverage of GLP-1 medications by Affordable Care Act, or ACA, marketplace plans, which is what we have. While 82% of these plans cover GLP-1 drugs for diabetes, less than 1% cover them for obesity. This includes well-known medications such as Saxenda, Wegovy, and Zepbound. The June 2024 report from the Peterson KFF Health System Tracker highlights cost management strategies employed by insurers, noting that none of the plans covered Zepbound and only a small portion covered Saxenda and Wegovy for weight loss. The report highlights that Medicare does not cover GLP-1 drugs for weight loss, and Medicaid coverage varies by state. Even when ACA marketplace plans cover these drugs, they often implement strict utilization management strategies. For example, nearly all plans listing these medications require prior authorization, and many have. Specifically, 84% of plans set limits for Saxenda, and 79% do so for Wegovy. Ozempic and Mounjaro also face similar restrictions, with most plans mandating prior authorization and setting quantity limits. Utilization management tools are intended to balance cost control and access, but can create barriers for individuals needing these medications. Yeah, cost too much. High demand and limited supply have driven some people to seek alternative sources, such as online vendors or medical spas, which may offer products not evaluated by the FDA. The report concludes that while these tools aim to manage costs, they can hinder access for individuals with a genuine medical need for GLP-1 drugs.
Here's the number that matters. Less than 1% cover GLP-1s for obesity.
So we're just never going to be able to purchase a plan through the marketplace that covers these medications.
Yeah, I don't see it happening anytime soon. As you're voting, there are lots of reasons to vote. Lots and lots of reasons to vote. Healthcare and this should be one of those reasons. We all have the things that are important to us, but to me, this one's up there. All right, next story number 5. Boston-based biotech Syntis announced its launch on Tuesday, aiming to develop alternatives to GLP-1's receptor agonists for treating obesity, metabolic disorders, and rare conditions. So that's right, an alternative. So not just another GLP-1. SyntisBio is set to make waves in the biotech industry with what they believe is an innovative approach. The company's flagship program, SYNT-101, stands out as a unique solution for obesity. It's an oral drug designed for once daily use that works by blocking nutrient absorption in the duodenum and redirecting it to the lower small intestines, where absorption is more controlled. The process mimics the effects of a gastric bypass surgery and stimulates the release of satiety hormones like GLP-1. So theoretically, it should work, maybe. It's moving it down in the digestion.
I'm skeptical.
Yeah, I don't know about this one, guys. We'll have to wait and see. If somebody from SyntisBio would like to chat, I'd love to have them on and learn more about it. SyntisBio is conducting a human trial to evaluate the safety, tolerability, and initial efficacy of SYNT-101. I don't want to be in this trial. The results of this pivotal study, expected by the end of 2024, will play a crucial role in supporting the company's investigational new drug application in 2025, marking a significant milestone in their journey. While GLP-1 drugs have delivered new hope and unprecedented efficacy, there is a significant demand for additional treatment options, given ongoing issues with accessibility, cost, side effects, long-term maintenance. Co-founder and CEO Rahul Danda of Syntis said. So, is this a great idea or a terrible idea? I don't know.
If I could take a pill every day for the rest of my life and keep my weight off, sure, I'd take it. But it's keeping my body from absorbing some nutrients. So which nutrients get blocked and how does it? So if I eat a cheeseburger, is it going to just shoot it on through? If I
Sounds
eat
an awful
salad,
lot like I'm going to have diarrhea every day for my life.
Is it going to still shoot it on through? Like what? I don't understand. But yeah, I'd be all for it. Yeah, I'd take a pill every day for the rest of my life. Beats taking a shot every week. But I'd be hard-pressed to switch away from a GLP-1 medication to do something.
Yeah, I don't want to be in this trial for sure. And the final story of the day.
Eli Lilly is preparing to launch a successor to its hugely successful weight loss drug, Zepbound. CEO David Ricks shared insights into the company's future and strategies during a recent interview with the Wall Street Journal. Tirzepatide, the active ingredient in both Mounjaro and Zepbound, has propelled Eli Lilly to the top of the pharmaceutical industry. Boy, don't we know it. With sales of these medications reaching an impressive $5.3 billion in 2023 and continuing to climb this year, Eli Lilly's position as a market leader seems secure. However, Ricks emphasizes the importance of staying ahead in the competitive landscape. Lilly's got a lead, Ricks confidently stated. We plan to exploit that lead. The company is acutely aware of the looming competition as other pharmaceutical giants strive to challenge the weight loss duopoly that Eli Lilly and Novo Nordisk dominated. Reflecting on past experiences, Ricks acknowledged how the company lost its stronghold in the mental health market after the patent for its blockbuster antidepressant Prozac expired in 2001. Generic alternatives rapidly eroded Eli Lilly's profits, underscoring the necessity of continuous innovation. To avoid repeating history, Eli Lilly is investing heavily in developing new obesity and diabetes treatments. Currently, the company has 9 promising drugs in the pipeline, with retatrutide standing out as a potential game changer.
Stories on it.
Ricks expressed high hopes for retatrutide, now in phase 3 trials. He highlighted its significant impact on visceral fat and liver obesity, which are notoriously difficult to treat. As a result, you lose even more weight than with tirzepatide.
I told you there could be something you might want more than tirzepatide. Now, at this weight, you disappear.
Yeah. Did you know that they made Prozac?
I did. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess the patent lasts for 25 years. Mm-hmm. It expires, and then you can make generics.
Yeah.
And buy generics. So their patent for Zepbound 25 years from now will expire.
But that's what he's telling you is they know it expires. They're not going to sit back. So they've got
they're
9.
making more things so they can keep innovating, which is great for us as consumers, expensive for them as drug companies.
It's cost of doing business.
They don't seem to mind. They made $5.3 billion.
I think that's what they said.
So yeah, we appreciate them putting money back into the research and development.
Make sure to join us for the Downsized Live Thursday at 7 Eastern Standard Time every week. We can talk about all these fun things. You want to close us out, Laraine?
Yeah, thank you for being part of our Downsized family as we explore the world of GLP-1 together. Please make sure it really helps us if you would like and subscribe to our channel. That way you never miss an episode.
That's right.
I'm Laraine Durham.
I'm Christopher Durham. Until next time, take care.